Hey guys, before we start, a quick shout out to Alpha Dog Nutrition for sponsoring this podcast. Alpha Dog products are now available at dusupply.com, and you can use code ALPHADOG15 at checkout for 15% off and a credit for free shipping to try it yourself. Now let's get you to your podcast.
Where's Fielder? He's gone to the dogs.
Welcome once again to the Gone to the Dogs podcast. Steve Fielder here with you. Really enjoying the opportunity to come out your way once again. Want to thank our sponsors of this podcast, W Hunting Supply, also Alpha Dog Nutrition, and my friend Big Mark Zepp with Zepp Predator Calls. Those are the folks that make it possible for me to come to you each week, and I hope that you will remember them when you need anything in the way of hunting supplies or supplements, nutrition for your dogs. Mark's got all kinds of supplies in addition to his coon squallers, dog boxes, hunting clothing, all that. So anyway, need any of those items, see these folks. They're mighty good folks. They'll treat you. Okay, that pays the bills, and now it's time to meet our guests for this week. We're going to go down to Birmingham, Alabama way, and we're going to try just a little bit north of there to a town called Gardendale, Alabama, to talk with Matt Wachter. Matt, how are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Matt. I've meant to get up with you before now. Absolutely. And sometimes it takes, in our case here, kind of an unfortunate circumstance to bring us together. But, I've known of you for a long time, and you tell me that we have actually howdied and shook a time or two at the Winter Classic and all. And the older I get, it seems like the harder it is for me to make the connections. But when I started running with that renegade Nubbin-Moore, your name would come up quite often. Of course, Nubbin is hunting a Walker dog right now. I guess you all have kicked him out of the Black and Tan Club, but he always talks about the hunters around that part of Alabama, and there's been a lot of good ones. And you're a younger man than most of them that in that circle. But I've heard about you, and I want to hear your entire story, Matt. Tell me a little bit about you and your family and what you do for a living.
Yeah, I'm Matt Wachter. I'm 48, live in Gardendale, Alabama, and been here my whole life. And I'm married to a wife, Cherry, and we've got a 5-year-old named Zane, and he's all boy, and I can't wait to keep him in the woods, hopefully.
Yeah, he's getting about the age he can jump up on your shoulders there and go along with you, isn't he?
Yes, sir. Yeah, he loves the dogs, and he loves the competition of everything. So hopefully he'll make a good handler.
Oh, okay. Well, good deal. Well, all right. Tell me a little bit, Matt, about growing up there in Alabama, country or town, or what was your childhood like there?
Yeah, we live just north of Birmingham. It's kind of a rural town. I started coon hunting when I was about 13 or 14. We had some boys in school that liked to hunt, and we had this wild creature over here, and he was a big coon hunter, and I went with him one night, and from then on I was hooked. And so we'd hunt about every night, except for Saturday nights because he had to get ready for church on Sundays. But yeah, there was a time there we went about every night, and man, there were some good old times for sure.
Well, I'm sure. And did this your fellow you started out with, did he hunt the black and tan breed? I noticed that that's your breed of choice.
Yes, sir. It was Preacher Doug Moore, who just recently passed. We were talking, passed this past Sunday. He was 82, and he got us into it, and he had good black dogs. He had his one in particular. His name's Joe. He was a Grand Knight off of Bill Schinker's stock of dogs.
Oh yeah.
And old Joe was an absolute coon dog. And I was telling some folks, I bet we treated 500,000-600,000 coons, and out of all those, I could count on one hand he missed. He just didn't miss.
Well, let me qualify for my listeners. You said 500 or 600 to 1,000. You didn't say 500 or 600,000.
No, that's right. Yeah, we don't have a big coon population down here, but
right.
Old Joe, he'd tree one about every night and or two, but we'd knock one out. Doug only knocked one out a night though, and we kept them, and we had a family that they loved them, and so we'd give them to them.
Oh, well, good. That's great. It's always good to know if you can use you got a place for the carcass, because some folks really enjoy raccoon.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. It was funny. He kept a free deep freezer and was stacked to the gills with coons.
Well, when I lived in Michigan, I kept a deep freeze for my hides. What I would do is skin them in the woods and leave the carcasses for the coyotes and so forth. But not that I needed to be feeding them, but that's kind of the way we did it back then. I don't really particularly care for coon. I've had it a few times. It was really good. In fact,
sure.
And Randy prepared a coon for us in camp this past year at White River. And
that's what somebody was telling me, Nubbin or Trey or somebody was telling me it was really good.
It was good. He did a great job. Randy's a pretty good cook. And they brought along a friend this time, and I'm going to mess his name up here. I better not even try.
Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby's a great guy, and man, that boy can cook. And but Randy and Morris Morris Hardy. Do you know Morris?
Oh yeah, got that nice English or Walker, whatever she is. Boy,
he used that old Skeeter. She's getting some age on her, but I think she's a crossbred, maybe Walker and English. I'm not sure about that, but. Morris and Randy combined to do our fish fries and our frog legs and that stuff. And man, those guys could open a restaurant. I'm talking about first class. The fish, the fries, the hush puppies, the coleslaw, the whole 9 yards.
Doug's church, he preached at a big church, and they'd have a big game festival every year. And so we'd provide the coons and rattlesnake and fish and whatever else. And we'd always have barbecue coon or crock pot coon or something like that. It was interesting.
Did you attend Doug's church?
No, that's the funny thing. I'm Catholic, and he's Southern Baptist.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, he always gave me a hard time about it, but I'll never forget at my wedding. He comes walking in the back door because he didn't know where the front door was, and he was giving me a hard time. So
that's what friends do.
Yes, sir.
Well, we've mentioned him a couple times here, and I guess we should, for our listeners' sake, go ahead and talk about Doug Moore. Now, I've heard the name several times down through the years. I don't know. I'm looking at his picture right here on Facebook that you posted with his obituary, and I don't know that I personally met him, but I've Nubbin has spoken of him many times, and so forth. What can you tell our listeners about Doug?
Well, yeah, if you ever met him, he was you never forget him. He was definitely one of a kind, and he had a heart of gold, but he was tough as nails, and he got a lot of young guys into coon hunting for sure in our area. And his claim to fame was not claim to fame, but one of his things sticks out is nobody could outwalk him anywhere on the tree. He always got a tickle out of beating everybody in the tree. and where we live at, not many people realize, but there's a ton of mountains.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Jamie and them won't come and hunt with us, Jamie Perrin, because of the hills. But Doug loved to outwalk everybody. He's got an older daughter, June, and then Dougie, who hunted a little bit with us, and then a daughter, Sherry. And Sherry's husband, Brad, he actually met his wife coming over to Doug's hunting. And so Brad and I had some dogs together. He lived about an hour north of me, and we'd hunt some together. But we always went to all the big hunts, Winter Classic and Black and Tan Days and Autumn Oaks and all that, the big UKC hunts. That was before PKC had the big hunts. But we always enjoyed that, and Doug always kept some real competitive hounds. And I'd handle some. Doug was a little hearing impaired. Funny story, my first Black and Tan I got, my stepfather worked for Johnson Controls, and he was a audiologist, and he developed some hearing aids that were remote control. They first came out. This is back in the 80s. And so we swapped some hearing aids for a dog. I think Doug got the better deal on that end, but that was one of my first Black and Tans that I got from him. And so we do all that. But he had like I say, he had an old Grand Night named Joe, and he was as good as any dog around. But he just didn't. If he crossed state lines, he didn't travel well, so he didn't compete on those big states. But around here, he was as tough as any. I know you've heard of Harold Annie.
Absolutely.
So Joe and Annie, they were about the same time, and so we always would go head to head a lot. And so that was a lot of fun.
So did you handle Joe for Doug?
I'd handled Joe some, but then I had a female off of or Doug had a female named Black Gal. She was a Grand Night off of a High Dollar Dancer who was off set in my face, but I handled her a lot.
Now that was Fred Bright's dancer dog, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And so I finished her out, and we put her in some. We got her in the world a couple of times, and then she was a lot of fun. Then he had a dog named Big Money that was fun to hunt. He was a slobbermouth. His whole head would be covered in foam. People would get excited when they saw him tree. But he sold him for some big money back then.
I got you. Well, I'm looking here, and this may be jumping out, chasing a rabbit here, and if it is, you bring me back. But I noticed where you posted back in May a picture of a dog called Tennessee Trip. Is that the one that Jamie had?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. I hunted with her. She was 100% coon dog.
Yeah, she was a once-in-a-lifetime hound for me. So I go to the White River just like y'all go the week after, but I go up there every year with all the Black and Tan guys, with Carl and Phillip. And
we've lost Carl Meinhardt, and that's...
Yeah. Him and Doug were about the same. They're both wild as it can be and hunted hard. All-nighters,
Yeah.
But Mr. Crockett and all them. But there was a guy named Mike Mizell.
I've met Mike. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So he had Trip up there. She was about 14 months old, and I got her home and went to hunt her. And my friend Don Fox took her for a little bit and hunted her up in Arkansas, and I got her back. But yeah, she was one of them once in a lifetime hounds. I sure miss her. I'm looking at a picture on the wall now, but she was one of those that could compete at the highest level with any breed, and you weren't afraid to turn her loose.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Yeah, I hunted. Yep. I remember one hunt for sure that I hunted with her, and she got to herself. She's independent. She got pretty deep and got treed. I may have hunted with her more than that, but I think that was probably a lead up to the Winter Classic, maybe. I hunted with her that night, and of course Jamie had her at that time. And
I was getting married, and I wasn't able to hunt her as much. And Jamie had always pestered me about her, and I just didn't feel. I knew her, Trey and Jamie could do a lot more with her, and of course Trey can screw up a dog as fast as anybody.
Well, you know what? He's kept this Wall Street dog for quite a long time, and that's the longest I've ever known him to keep one.
Oh, yeah. Trey's had more dogs, better dogs than a man deserves, but you know how he is. But he, they made her a gold champion, and I think she won she was the highest scoring Black and Tan female 1 year in the world. She won a lot. She was, I've won first place with her, Black and Tan days, and a couple other things. But I still got the handler. That was fun because, you know, they only live about 30 minutes from me.
Yeah.
So
now, what was Trip out of again? Did I miss it?
She was out of Rocket Fuel, Alan Holden's Rocket Fuel.
Okay.
And, I actually bought another female from Mizell years ago named Wicked Witch, and she could have been the same caliber. She got ran over early, but she was really nice off of Rocket Fuel.
Well, I met Mike at the reunion there at Philip Heron's there in Mariana a few years ago, and, you know, also I didn't meet him there. I knew him long before that, but I remember, of course, Tam Young being there, and we just recently lost Tam. And, you know, Jarvis was there that weekend that Nubbin and I were there. And, of course, you know, we lost Jarvis here a couple years, 2 or 3 years ago. And it's tough, as we talk here about Doug Moore, to realize, you know, that these hunters have gone on, you know, and when you get to be my age, Matt, you realize, you know, just how many of your friends are taking that trip, you know. My friend up in West Virginia says, Steve, we're standing in the checkout line, you know. So, but actually, Doug and I were not that far distant in ages. I was born in 1946, and so, you know, I'm going to be 79 in October. So, but anyway, time marches on.
Well, I tell you, it's really through Doug. I met so many people. You know, I met Fred Bright through Doug, and Fred's
one of the
always
finest coon hunters I ever met in my life. And
no doubt,
really enjoyed hunts that we took together, especially in Albany, Georgia, when we started the Winter Classic. He and I would pleasure hunt out there on a plantation, and I had Fred on the podcast here this year, and he seems to be doing pretty well. He's kind of slowed down on his hunting, like most folks our age have. But
no doubt, yeah, I met Fred through Doug at the Winter Classic, and I bought a few hounds from him, and Fred and I became really, really tight, and I'd go spend weekends with him hunting, and I tell you, I learned so much from Fred through being a good houndsman, but also in life, being a hard worker, and everything he did was 110%. And so, Fred, if you're listening to this, I love you, buddy, and thank you for all that you taught me.
I think he probably is listening, and I couldn't echo that any better, Matt. We could do a podcast here talking about those outstanding hunts we had down there in Southern Heritage Plantation outside Albany, Georgia. And Fred was hunting a poodle back then. You remember his poodle?
I've heard all about her, and I can't remember her name, but they said she was one bad machine.
Oh, she's a coon treer, man. She would amaze you. Oh, what's her name? It'll come to me in a minute. But Fred, I apologize for forgetting your dog's name. Don't hold it against me, buddy.
And he had an old Dancer now. Dancer really, I feel like Dancer was one of the most underrated reproducers out of Ace. We had so many, Doug and his son-in-law Brad, we had a ton of Dancer dogs and did a lot of winning with them. And but he was an exceptional hound. And Fred actually offered him to me in his later years, and I just didn't feel like I could do him justice. I'm glad Brian Reese got him, and he had him there with, I think it was Jack he had, but it was good to see him go back there.
Yeah, that Dancer was a beautiful hound too, and you know, a good looking black and tan dog. And I was glad to see Fred. That was kind of after my UKC days, and when I'd gone to PKC, and I was just glad to see Fred with a real nice dog like that, because he's one of those fellas. I mean, I always thought when you look at Fred, you walk up to him, he looks like one of these talk show hosts game show hosts on TV. You know, that big smile, you know, that hair just all in place.
Well, I tell you, I'd go to his house, and I'd get there Friday. It's about a 3.5, 4 hour drive from Birmingham over there south. He was down towards Macon then.
Yeah.
And he had it planned out from the time I got there. We'd go to Waffle House, then we'd go hunting, then we'd go back to Waffle House. We'd get up the next morning, and we'd go to Waffle House, and we'd squirrel hunt. He had some outstanding squirrel dogs.
Yeah.
And then we'd leave there, and we'd go to Bass Pro. And then we go eat at a barbecue joint. Then we go to a gun shop. Then we squirrel hunt. Then we go to Waffle House. And then we coon hunt. And, he told Linda, his wife, said, I'll see you Sunday. And she'd always have us a pie or something. And those are some of the best times of my life going over and hunting with Fred.
I imagine, because, the company we keep, is what makes our life experiences so good. And I appreciate John Wick had written the foreword for the book that I wrote back in 2015. And he mentioned something about that we're kind of known by the company we keep. And he complimented me on the friends, that I had. And that was, you meet lots and lots of people, Matt, especially in this sport. And if you're in a position like I was, you're going to all the different breed days, to the bigger hunts and all of that. And a lot of people, and you're always glad to see. Most of them you're glad to see. But there's an inner circle, everybody has it, I think, of special people, that come our way. And I would certainly put Fred Bright in that list for me. I can briefly tell you, he was the one that was responsible for us to get onto this American Heritage Plantation in Albany, Georgia. Now, this place was a Disneyland. I'm telling you. Did Fred ever tell you about it?
Yes, sir. Yeah, he was telling me a lot about it, and I hunted a lot of those plantations for years down there. Yeah, that was a great time.
Well, when he told me the first night that we planned to go out there, I had to get dogs out, for the Winter Classic, get the casts all gone and all that, and he'd already gotten out there, and that was our first year after we were invited. The Williams family invited us out there, and he said, "Steve, when you drive up here, you're going to think you're going to the White House." But he said, this place is something else. But we had a great, great time. And we were remembering some of our hunts the other day. I guess we shot out or jumped out a little old coon that wouldn't have weighed 10 pounds, soaking wet, whipped every dog we had. I mean, really, in one of those ponds out there on that plantation. But I'm getting off on a tangent, chasing rabbits. You're gonna have to reel me back in, Matt.
Oh, it was great. I remember hunting down there. Fred had always guided me, but one year I went to the Okefenokee, and I just remember seeing all these alligator eyes.
Welcome to Florida.
Wild. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I hunted some ranches around here, when I first came down here. That's an eerie feeling when you get treed and you look and there's a little pond or lake out there. You look out there and there's eyes everywhere. Those guys are just kind of like in a holding pattern out there. I said, dogs don't go that way. Please don't go that way.
Well, I'll tell you what, another thing I was going to mention to you is all these guys we've mentioned in our group, we're all, you and I kind of run with the same crew with Nubbin and the Perrins and Randy and Crockett. And I tell you, those are some of my best buds. And there's that one hunt every year. I look forward to it more than any vacation that I do. I love going out to the White River and hunting with those guys. And Mr. Heron's always done a great job with that hunt and seeing all the legends of the Black and Tans. And it's just a great week for me. And but yeah, I've enjoyed. I grew up hunting with Perrins and Nubbin and your buddy Keith Durkee. And we had a bunch of wild. Yeah, we got a bunch of wild ones over here.
I bet you. I bet you.
Yeah.
We go to White River, we'd hunt out of the boat some. And, we'd tree a coon and all. We'd come back, but Durkee, he'd always recut his. And then he'd be in there who knows where. We didn't even know where we were. We're just
Oh,
sitting there
yeah.
at the boat waiting on Durkee to come by.
Well, when he first moved down here, he would come to our hunts. It was well, I can't remember. It was like $25 hunts, $30 hunt, PKC hunts, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Durkee moved down here, and he had old Junior, and man, what a coon dog Junior was.
Oh yeah.
And I never forget, got off in one of these hills, and he passed out. I don't know if you ever seen him have those passing out episodes, but
Yeah, I
he had
know Durkee has some issues. Durkee's a hero. He is one of the. He's done things that you and I would not even consider doing in 10 lifetimes.
Oh, no doubt.
In the military, you know. But yeah,
well, he had that plate in his head when he jumped out of the plane and hit the wing or something. But I'll never forget. He passed out after the hunt was over, and Brother Doug said, "Wachter, he's dead. He's dead." And I said, "Well, what are we gonna do?" And he said, "Give him mouth to mouth." And I said, "I'm not giving Durkee mouth to mouth." And about that time, he woke up, and we said, "Are you all right, Keith?" And he said, "Yeah, did Junior win?" I said, "Oh my gosh." But yeah, he'd have them passing out spells. It was wild. He'd scare you for a little bit. But boy, I tell you, Steve, we had some of the best dogs in the country over here back in the day. On a Tuesday night, Thursday hunt, you'd have Harold's Annie, platinum champion. You'd have Adam Joyner with a Zeb 3. And then you'd have Nubbin with something. He'd have Buster or somebody. And then, we just had some really fine dogs over here. We had the AKC world champion, Durkee's Mo.
Yeah.
And then Jamie's always packing a good one besides Andy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So,
best he can find or buy. That's for sure.
yeah. So you better have a good one at our back then. So I learned a lot from those guys. I didn't have any money, but I'd have my plugs out there, and I learned a lot from those guys, and I sure appreciate them not running over me too hard.
Well, you couldn't have had a better group of people to hunt with. You know, I could go on here and go on and on the number of favors that Jamie Perrin's done for me, and calls me just to check up on me every once in a while. A very dear friend, and you know, and Durkee, he's always there to help. You know, you need somebody to go get your dog or go with you or whatever. Old Dirk's always right in there.
Yes, sir.
Know? And of course, Nubbin and I, we're about the same speed anymore. I've kind of slowed down. There was a couple of years there I said, "Well, Nubbin, I'll go get your dog." But anymore, I don't know whether I'm any faster than Nubbin is, but we still have fun, you know, and we talk about that every year when White River time comes up. And we just both say, well, we're gonna go as long as we can, you know, and enjoy it. And we don't hunt all night, and we don't walk as far, and all like that. But we still have a good time with it. But that's a great area in there, and you've got a lot of good black dogs. You got the Carleys down there that has some good dogs. And
oh yeah, Buddy and I, we've done a lot of hunting together, and him and his brother are great guys, no doubt. He's done a heck of a job with his line of dogs.
Yeah, and then in days past before your time, I'm sure you had Dr. Porter down there.
Yes, sir. I remember Dr. Porter. He was a little bit before my time, but he's a legend down here.
No, absolutely. And you know, all around that area of Alabama, you've got Roger Gibson up there that hunted the famous Amos dog, the red dog, that won the Purina competition. He's just up north of you there.
Yeah, I see Roger. I've gotten big into the squirrel dogs, and so I go up and hunt the Black Warrior, and Roger lives right there on it. And so I'll stop and visit with him. And then Mr. Shable was up there, and I'd see Mr. Shable a lot of the big hunts. What a great man both those guys are.
Well, and, actually, you know, Roger has passed now. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, you know, and I remember this is reaching way back. But up in West Virginia where I grew up, and when I came home from the military in about 73, I was coon dog crazy, man. I'd been on a 3-year sabbatical in Japan, and there was a fellow up there that had a big, beautiful red bone hound called Blakesley's Northern Chief. And he'd come out of Minnesota, and those Blakesley Northern Redbones. They were popular. This is back in the day. Now, we're talking 50 years ago. And this fella sold this big chief dog to Jimmy Fisher in Leeds, Alabama. And he sold him for $2,500, and that was more money than those hillbillies up there in West Virginia had ever seen in one pile, And that area has always had some good hounds.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I failed to mention I went to school at Auburn, and
okay, War Eagle.
While I was down there, yeah, War Eagle. We're struggling, but we had everything. We're doing well, everything but football. But while I was down there, I had some hounds. I lived at a real nice place, and I hooked up with Stephen Gamble. I don't know if you remember Stephen.
I remember him very well.
Yeah.
Used to hunt a dog for Roger Dale when I first went to PKC.
That wasn't old Sally, was it?
Old Sally, yeah. She won the national championship there, I think, that year before. I think it was a national championship. She won one of the big hunts there. Yeah.
Yeah, she won a lot. And so Stephen and I hunted, and I used to hunt all of Bob Dudley's property over there and take his boys hunt with me. And then that's how I met Stephen. And I met a lot of people through Stephen. Chris Hare, he hunted Skipper for Jarvis for a while.
Oh, okay, I remember Skipper. Now, isn't that the one that Corey?
Right. Mm-hmm.
What was Corey's last name? Sexton.
I can't remember. Sexton. That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I had a big. I worked for a really good company. I've been there 27 years, and one of the perks of my job is I've got a real nice hunting club, about 8,000 acres with 10 members and a big old lodge.
Oh man, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, and so Chris had Skipper, and him and Stephen had Kane, and they all came over. And they put on a show, and
Bad to the bones.
Yep. And I called Fred, and I said, buddy, I drew a dog tonight that's 14 months old that absolutely put on a show. And so that's when I first hunted with Skipper. And I told Jamie, I said, he's the real deal. And so that was cool, getting to hunt with them a good bit.
Well, we had a black and tan hunt up in Ohio at Holmesville, Ohio. Dean Miller was part of that, putting that thing together. And I forget if it was AKC Black and Tan Days or what we called it. But we had a bunch of stuff, dog boxes and lights and all that stuff. And guys came out.
Yeah, that was at AKC. Yeah, that was at AKC hunt. I remember that.
Yeah, and Skipper was up there and did quite well up there, as I recall. Yeah.
Yeah, we always used to give Jarvis heck. We give Corey heck. Jamie would. He told him, Corey, I'm just going to tell you, if Skipper goes to Jarvis, he's going to be fat as all get out and not worth a darn and breeding everything. He said, if you want to win these hunts, you better keep him at your house. Was cool.
Well, a little quick story, and I mentioned it on here before. Nubbin and I were at White River, and one morning we were going into DeWitt there for something, I don't know what, and the phone rang. Our Nubbin's phone, of course, Nubbin's on the phone 24/7. But anyway, hold on just a second.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it was Jarvis on the phone. And Nubbin had called him to wish him a happy birthday and didn't get him and left a message, and he was calling to thank Nubbin for the message. And I got to talk to him, and we planned to do a podcast. And it was just a few days after that he passed. But I was so thankful that I did get to talk to him again, before that happened. And I don't know how Miss Joyce is doing, but I hope she's doing very well. And Jarvis was a special guy, that's for sure.
No doubt. Yeah, I remember it was about a year before he passed. I'd bought a female, and I went over to his place in Mississippi and got a nice little female, and I picked her up on the way to the White River. And I actually kept it. He gave me a leash, and I still have that leash over here. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, those guys were awesome. They were some heroes of mine. Him and Doc Benson and Carl. Man, there's some good old guys back then.
Yeah, I met Doc, and of course, Philip tells a story about how he met Doc and how Doc gave him a membership card to the Black and Tan Association and said, "Here, this one's on me, the next one's on you."
Yeah, yeah.
You know, Philip likes it. Philip Heron, that's another hard-working guy.
Yes, sir.
That's hard to beat. Got a heart of gold. And,
no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's such an awesome deal there. Those Black and Tan boys that, you know, I guess Ed Beard maybe was the one that started that thing. I don't know. Or maybe Jarvis, but I think they started that reunion over at Sweat's Camp over there on Maddox Bay. But, you know, it moved I don't know if it was Carl, since Carl was a forester there. And that's St. Francis Forest there, I believe, right there by Mariana. Carl Meinhardt, I'm speaking of. And but anyway, they moved it to that youth camp there. And that was really a neat place. Nubbin and I were talking the other day about that one night. I don't know what it was. There was some bad juju in the air or something. Everybody broke down, had flats, all this stuff. And Tam had been way back in the woods somewhere on that Kawasaki Mule and broke the steering column on his side by side, the steering wheel, and he had it all hooked up, rigged up with a ratchet strap. Somehow he had quite a conglomeration there that he'd been able to drive it out of the woods. And I think Jarvis had flats on both sides of his trailer. And we had a flat that night. I don't know what all happened. But anyway, just remember those times. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, that's what we always laugh because every time Carl comes in, he's got something broke on his truck. He's tore up a camper. He's flipped a four-wheeler. It's always something.
He was wide open. Carl.
Oh, he'd have that look in his eye, and he'd be like, "We're going back out." And I'm like, "Oh Lord, oh man."
That's right, boy. Buckle up. It's going to get crazy before the night's over.
No doubt.
He was hunting one called Too Tall, I believe. Last night I hunted with Carl, big, tall, black and tan dog.
I think Big Don Redmond. I think he might have had him or got him or something.
Uh-huh. Yeah. There's another. Yeah, there's another great black and tan guy right there. Don and his boy. What's his boy's name?
Derek.
Yeah. They used to stop by the camp there at when we were at that lodge there in St. Charles, and stop in and visit a while with us and all. I always enjoyed seeing Don.
Yeah, Big Don's always got a nice hound, and I'm glad I met him many years ago. We've become good friends. And, there's so many up there: Greg Williams and Jimmy Henderson and Cat. And Flippos and Princes. There's just so many great black dogs, man.
Flop,
and Mr. Crockett and Randy, and there's our black and tan group's real tight, and I'm proud to be a member of it.
It is. Mike Crockett, that's one fine guy right there. And
no doubt.
Of course, who can forget the infamous Frog Hayes? And
Frog yes,
used to go to the White River with us until his kids, God bless him, putting his family first, His boy Easton got into rodeo, and then that pretty well took his time. But
I really I used to go over and watch Easton rope, and they'd come to Birmingham over there by Nubbins. I'd run over there and watch Easton, and I hope he's a real smart, sharp kid.
He is. I think he just got his driver's license here the other day.
Boy.
Yeah, it's on now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. There was one more thing there, one I was going to mention to you, doggone it. Oh, did you know Mr. Fred Sanders?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, good.
He was one of the hardest hunters. You know him a heck of a lot more than I do. But Nubbin and I had a female named Tracy that was off of Mr. Fred's dog. And I hunted her pretty hard. And she was a competition style dog, but she She had big ears. She liked to cover a lot, but she could flat. She was off of old Newt, and
Oh yeah, Mike's
and
dog.
And Mr.
Mike Crockett.
Fred's female. I think her name was Betty or something. I can't remember.
I don't remember that. I don't think I knew her.
But she, old Tracy, the Cobles or Cobbles, however you pronounce it, up in Indiana, they got a hold of her later on and finished her out.
Randy
She's a big reproducer.
and Bob and
Jordan.
Of course, Jordan, their son now. Yeah. Or I can't remember which is he Bob or Randy's son. Jordan.
I'm not sure. He used to have hunt some black dogs, and he's got a real nice Walker dog, I believe. And great guy.
He's a great guy. Yeah, he tried to train a Walker pup for me one time. She liked to do everything but tree. But
yes, sir.
Anyway, he's kind of takes some dogs in, I think, and trains them. Real good guy. Really good family. I really like that Coble family up there.
But Nubbin and I had that female, and I remember we were up in Indiana. We always had a hunt with the Inghams and Mr. Fred
Boyd
and Ronald.
Ronald. I remember those back boys at Black and Tan days.
Jasper, Indiana. And
that's where Nubbin won Autumn Oaks.
Okay, was that with Zach or Hank? Or
no, he won it with Hank. He won the 25th anniversary Autumn Oaks overall. And then I think he won the Black and Tan the next 2 years. But he won the whole shooting match there our first year, the 25th anniversary of Autumn Oaks, he and Nubbin and old Hank.
I remember we cut her loose out there by herself, and she treed one or two, and then the next thing sounded funny. I got in there, and she was about 30 foot up the tree.
Ooh,
and sure enough, she fell out and hit the ground. And I said, oh, boy, she's going to be dead. So we got her up, and we had her on a leash, and I said, well, let's head to the truck. And about that time, she had a little blood come out of her nose or something. Fred said, she'd probably die. And I remember she started pulling on the leash in the middle of that cornfield. And Fred, he said, cut her loose. He said, it don't matter. She'll be dead in the morning. We ended up, I think she treated 6 singles that night. And that was a big memory there. But she ended up making it. But that was one of her.
You caught her up. Yeah, lots of stories. Frog and I, Nubbin and I were hunting one night, and we had one of Mike's dogs. Frog was hunting it, Mike Crockett's dogs, and she climbed a tree. Henny, he called her, or Hemi, or something like that.
Henny. I remember her, Henny.
Yeah. And she climbed up. It was slightly leaning, an oak. Well, Frog, we'd cut the dog. I got to tell the whole story. I'm like, I say it a lot of times. He asks me what time it is. I tell you how to build a watch. But here we go. We turned the dogs loose off one of those trails there in the White River, and Frog's dogs were down that way, and it got treed. And he kept staying down there. And I said, man, I wonder what's going on down there. There's something wrong. So we walked down there. Of course, you know how big and open those woods are and all. And we walked down there and said, what's up, Frog? And he said, well, there's a coon right here, but the dog got a coon treat here, but Henny's up there in the tree, and it was about 100 yards over to the right, and she had climbed up that tree all the way up to the first limb, and she got behind that limb, and she wouldn't come down. And I'll cut this story short. We ended up leaving her, called the next morning, would it be all right if we drove our side-by-side down there to that tree, because we didn't want to, you're not supposed to drive off those trails. The game warden said, hey, you go do whatever you got to do to get your dog. And we went down there and we cut a great long pole and we climbed up on the top, or Frog did, up on the top of that side-by-side dog box. It was a tall box, and poked her. And I'll be darned if she just didn't come right around that limb and walk right down that tree.
Oh,
and she'd been up there 14 hours. And I said, well, you tell Mike his dog stayed treed 14 hours last night. But no, Mr. Fred, you mentioned, what a dear guy he was. And he used to laugh at me. I always liked to take a lot of pictures. And he'd tell Nubbin, he'd say, hey, we'd already treed 3 coons. We had to do this dang movie shoot, he said. He called it a movie.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I tell you, old Randy Smith, he's hunting as hard as Mr.
Oh
Fred.
my gosh. You look up coon hunter in the dictionary and there's Randy Smith's picture, I promise you.
Oh man, what a great guy he is! I tell you, I'm so glad to have him as a friend. And
Oh,
I tell you, we go duck hunting every year up there in close to Tupelo. And I called him this year and I said, "Hey, I got some high school seniors that they've never been coon hunting and they want to go." So he said, "Heck yeah, y'all come on over." So him and Morris took me and these boys hunting. And
yeah.
I couldn't thank him enough. But old Morris's female showed out. We treated 6 singles and knocked every one of them out. And I told them boys, I said, "You boys just don't know how good of a coon hunt we just had."
Old Skeeter. Skeeter could
Boy.
tree them. Well, now, it might have, if it was late, recently, it might have been Tootie. Is it a younger
Tootie, yeah,
female?
I think it was Tootie. That's right.
Yeah,
It was.
yeah. Skeeter was his older dog. Tootie is his coon dog now, and she's as they say, jam up. You know?
I mean, she was popping them like popcorn that night. Boy, she
Yeah.
looked outstanding. But Randy's got a dog. I just gave him a puppy. Me and my neighbor weren't getting along. I got a new neighbor, and I live on 10 acres, and he thinks he can't stand the dog barking. I can't either, but he really can't stand it. But anyway, I told Randy I got a male over here, and he's hunting him now, so I'm excited. He seems to be doing really well.
Well, couldn't have it in better hands. And of course, my listeners need to know I'm not talking about Randy Smith in Pennsylvania with the Lone Pine Dogs. We're talking about Randy Smith in Mississippi. Is Randy's address Senatobia, or what town does he live in? Do you know?
He's close to Senatobia. I don't know exact town, but he's real close right there.
This guy was a caretaker on a big property down there for many years, took care of a very expensive, exclusive hunting club down there.
$1 million membership.
How much?
$1 million, I think. $750.
Yeah, think about it. And he went through a tough time with his health. He had cancer, and he beat that. But, man, I tell you, he's a great guy to be around. You know, I spend a week with him every year out there. And just easygoing, quiet sort of guy. But when it gets dark, man, he's coon hunting, and he kind of slips off from you. He wants to get out there, and whatever dog he's got, I guarantee you it's out there treeing coons.
He's had some jam up good ones for sure, and he hunts about every night. Man, he sure does.
Yeah, I sat there in the camp there at St. Charles one night and watched a great big pile of money transfer hands between Jamie and Randy. For
Old mule.
Old
big
mule. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. That's a good one.
Yeah, he was. And I think he died. What did he get hit on the road, or he drowned?
Yeah, Jamie had sold him, and I think Bobby Talley was hunting him, and he got hit, and just a freak accident from what I understand. Bruce had him.
Yeah. Bruce killed him. There's another great black and tan man.
Yes,
he and
sir.
his daddy, both.
Yes, sir.
Great people. You know, Matt, I have been so blessed to meet so many great people, and I see that you have too. And most of yours, I think, have been through the black and tan dogs. And that's why I encourage people, get in a breed. Pick one that you like. Get in there. Get in the association. Go to the breed days. Learn, meet the people. And, man, you'll have relationships that'll last your entire life. Do you agree?
No doubt. Yeah, and I'd encourage anybody that hunts black and tans to support the Black and Tan Association, UKC and PKC, and get involved. I was lucky and fortunate enough to be a board member 1 year or a couple of years, and back when Doc was a president and a few others. And I've been going, I think, 37, 38 years I've been to Black and Tan Days and hadn't missed, and it's just one of the highlights. But I encourage everybody to join those associations and take a young person hunting, man. It's a dying breed, a dying sport, and we need more hunters. So
Well, I saw a picture, and I'm trying to find it here. I think it was on your website. And let me find it here. Well, I didn't go down. Well, no, maybe I didn't look at the right place. It's you and a couple of young men and a coon and a black dog. It's obviously in the fall of the year because you've harvested the coon. And man, that was a great picture. Couple youngins. Do you remember that picture or what?
That might have been me and Randy and Morris last year.
No, this is young kids.
Oh,
kids.
I'm not. Oh, yeah. I took the neighbors hunting one night, and some kids in high school, and I've got a Grand Male out here. He's a good old coon dog, and we treat a few over here. I'm real fortunate. I can just walk out my house and go hunting, so that's nice. And
oh yeah.
The older I get, I like riding these side by sides. It makes it easier.
Tell me about it. You know, I have gotten plumb pitiful, helpless. But well, the last time I have a 4-wheeler and I'd haul it out to White River, and Jamie, he said, "Man, don't bring that thing out and haul that thing all the way out here. You got to ride with me, or we got plenty of rides. You don't need to bring that." So I followed his advice, and I go up to Pennsylvania every kind of try to go spring and fall to hunt with the other Randy Smith up there, and he picks me up at the airport, and then of course we ride his side by side everywhere we go, and it kind of spoils an old man, but it sure is nice.
Boy, those guys up north, they got some nice hunting, don't they?
Well, yeah. Now Randy's is kind of hilly. You'd be right at home in those hills where Randy hunts. But now we do slide over, kind of east of him. West of him. We're more toward the Ohio River way, and get into some big farm land, cornfields, and all that stuff. But yeah, he. When I go up there in the fall, when we're gonna hunt till I don't know, midnight or later, we'll tree 5 or 6, But now some nights he'll tree 10 or 15,
Wow.
Yeah.
He's done a great job with his program for sure. I like following some of their stuff, and he's got some beautiful hounds.
He really does, and it's not by chance, he's been at it a long time, and he's absolutely dedicated and focused. Terry Walker told me one time, after going fishing with him up in Canada, he said, he is the most determined guy I've ever been with. But he's a great guy to a great family. I can't say enough about my friend Randy. So I got 2 Randy Smiths, and they're both great guys, and I really appreciate their friendship for sure.
That's great. Well, I know you ain't got all night, but I was going to mention my buddy Trey, our buddy Trey.
Come on, tell me a Trey Bow story.
Yeah, I've been hunting with that little kid since he was about 5 or 6, and yeah, the little boy is scared to death of the dark. He's turned out to be a pretty good little coon hunter.
Oh man, he'd come in the clubhouse at Black and Tan Days and that little high pitched voice. Wah, wah, wah. Who the heck is it? He was always wide open, wasn't he? But he is a great guy to go coon hunting with, and of course he and his daddy like those wild hunting dogs, and they don't ever stay together, and so most of the time they're gone somewhere,
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Have you had some good hunts with Trey?
Oh yeah, I remember he'd have old Annie, and oh God, I'd hate drawing her because I knew I was about to get my butt whipped. But yeah, it was fun with him, and I've toted him all over the country, Black and Tan Days, the PKC World Hunts, and all the futurities and all that stuff, and
yeah,
we always stay together at Mr. Ed Harrell's and Miss Wanda.
Oh, I've had the honor to stay up there for the World Hunt one year with Jamie and Trey.
Such a fine family.
Oh, my goodness. Mr. Ed's passed on, and that's another one right there. That's just, those are, Salt of the earth people. You know,
No doubt.
just great. Well, Mike, did you know Mike?
Oh yes,
There-
sir. Yeah, that was the trainer of the operation there.
Oh, yeah. Mike was a coon hunter now, and he used to keep me posted on my friend Everett Weems. Everett was one of the oldest plot breeders. He was the same age as my dad. They got started in plots about the same time with the same line of dogs. And I would check on Everett, and Mike would always give me an update about how Everett was getting along and stuff. And eventually dementia took over, and you know, and all. But Mike Harrell was just, again, you know, what do you say about people like that? You know, just you can just be thankful that the good Lord let their paths cross ours,
doubt.
you know.
Miss Wanda, she cooks for us every morning and evening. I gain 5 pounds every time I go up there.
I guarantee. Well, we stayed in the basement. Of course, Eddie liked to play pool.
Shooting that pool.
Yeah, man. And I took a friend from down here in Florida, Mac Britt, with me up there that year. I had a Walker dog at that time, Cruz, and Matt was handling him for me. But what I enjoyed most about that was Eddie would guide 2 rounds every night at the World Hunt, and he'd pick up his cast over there to Walmart in Florida. They'd send him over, you know. Well, we'd go out on the early round, or Mac and I would with my dog, and then when I come back in, I'd go back out with Ed, you know, to guide his late round cast. And of course, we'd just sit in the truck and tell stories, and take a little nap, and all that. It was just a wonderful week, you know, there. And like you said, Miss Wanda, she just kept us stuffed all the time.
Oh yeah,
Beautiful lady.
I always so back to Brother Doug. When we were kids, we always stayed in tents, and at every hunt we went to. And so now when I go to Black and Tan Days, there's one night I want to stay in a tent, and Miss Wanda gets on to me, "You can't stay in a tent." And I said, "Man, I do it for old time's sake, just reminiscing, you know." I enjoy it. But
well, I have left a hat at Wanda's house, and I know it's still there because she tells me it is. So I'm going to have to go back to Florida. I don't know when. I don't know if maybe go to the World Hunt this fall. I don't know. But,
yeah, you need to swing by and see her. She's
absolutely.
had some health issues this past year.
Has she? Yeah.
Yeah, but she's got a good family around her, and they're taking care of her. And,
well, that's great. Yeah. That is great.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't too long. Ed had a black dog that he really liked when I was Jamie and Trey and I were up there, and not long after, Big Boy, and he died. Mm-hmm. I think he just, I don't know what happened to him, but yeah. And we would go out and hunt. You know, I think it was maybe the night before we were to hunt our first night. We went out on one of Ed's properties out there. He just told us where to go, you know, and we went out there and treated a coon or two. And oh, precious memories, the old gospel song, how they linger, how they ever flood my soul. I'm telling you, the older I get, the more that flood just comes in, you know, of all these good people and all these good dogs and all these good times. It's
good
amazing.
Memories, and I can't wait to make more with my son and maybe Trey will have a kid one day.
Oh, you reckon? Oh, he needs that for paybacks. That's for sure.
Oh, man.
He needs that for paybacks.
And I keep telling myself I'm gonna get over there to the White River and hunt with you boys on that week afterwards.
We need somehow to overlap that, Matt, so we can do that. I'm just in that mode where I just go along with whatever the crowd wants to do. That's fine with me.
That's right.
You know, and I've got a young plot dog up in North Carolina right now, and he's trying to learn, and he's a wild child. So we'll see how he turns out. But I probably just go along, ride with the boys,
Yeah, sure.
So that's well,
I
Matt,
tell you,
it's
Stephen Gamble had a good plot dog one time.
really.
Last one I ever hunted with, yeah. Rex Ledbetter. Do you remember Rex
I
Ledbetter?
do remember Rex. In fact, Rex was down at White River a couple years ago. He came in and stayed at the same place we were staying.
Okay, yeah, they had a female that, man, she won a bunch. She was real nice. I remember somebody did an article on her on Bloodlines one year. I don't remember her name, but real impressive.
Well, I've been blessed, my buddy, and I have a real good one right now. Won't talk about him, but he's just coming along at a time in my life when I really appreciate one, and he's just 3 years old right now. So, but anyway, well, Matt, it's been a real joy to talk to you. Got any parting stories you want to share with us? Maybe something about a hunt you took with Doug, or anything that particularly stands up?
There's so many with Doug. Man, I'm gonna miss him. We're gonna have his funeral Saturday and bury him Sunday, and I'll probably see a bunch of old coon hunters. But I really appreciate you having me on, and I know I bounced all over the place.
You've been perfect, brother. Perfect.
It's been great reminiscing, and hopefully we can make some more stories. And I sure do enjoy listening to your podcast and all the great people that you have on. It's great to listen to, and I'm glad you're doing it.
Well, it's a labor of love for me, something I enjoy very much, and I get to talk to people like you. We've been at it here, for a little over an hour, and that's just about right. So, listen, buddy, you get that little coon hunter in the woods as soon as you can. Just don't burn him out now too quick.
That's right. I'm gonna have him I'll have him up at Mariana this year.
That'll be great.
But I said I'm bringing him. So.
That's great. He'll get to camp out with Dad there at the cabins and all. Well, that's great. Well, folks, you've been listening to Matt Wachter from Gardendale, Alabama, and. Matt and I have a lot of common friends that we've enjoyed talking with or about, and I hope that you've enjoyed the conversations as much as I have. Once again, want to thank our sponsors that make this possible. Now, if somebody asks you, where's that old has-been coon hunter Steve Fielder? What's he doing these days? Tell him he's down there in Alabama. He's running up and down those hills with Matt Wachter. He's gone to the dogs.